Positive energy all the time. Good morning to everybody in the United States. Good afternoon, good evening, good night to everybody around the world. I'm starting early. It is 4 in the morning here in Chicago, but it's definitely a historical day. So I'm probably going to be on live stream most of today if I can. Before I jump the gun, rep your city, rep your city. I'm representing Chicago, Illinois. Everybody on Kick, everybody on Twitch, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Facebook. I'm representing Chicago, Illinois. We got Texarkana in the building. We got Shreveport doing big things. The beautiful and lovely Kathy is in the building. The gorgeous Arnell is in the building. We represent New Orleans. I'm telling you, Greensboro in the building. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Richmond, Virginia. Richmond is in the building. Indianapolis is in the house. I have never seen anything this ridiculous as far as the government dealing with the economy. This is crazy. Now, when it comes to welfare overall, one of the complaints is that people get on welfare and stay on there and just stay on there and stay on there and stay on there. And that's a good point, but the government let them. The government let them. And so I don't know how the government can allow something under certain administrations and then get a new administration that plays hardball. I don't think that's good politics. Meaning, if there were presidents before me that did things, and I don't like them, I get in there, I want to change them. But I can't punish the people because even though I'm the new president, this was still done under the United States government. So my government still did this. So as the next president, I have to be courteous in the way that I make changes. But what they're doing now is they're putting it on the presidents and not the government. So we're living in a world where you can be under one government that's like this, and then you get another president, then they want to change the actual government. That shouldn't be allowed to happen like that. I feel the drastic changes in Trump's behavior, I believe is illegal. I believe he's breaking all type of constitutional laws. I believe he's definitely crossing the line in many, many areas as a president. I believe he's crossing the line. And I believe that a lot of Americans don't know much about the government. They like to choose sides like this is a football game or a baseball game. And I think a lot of Americans that supporting a lot of the things he do are going to get burned by that same behavior. They're going to get burned. Especially if they're not rich. If some people are playing a racial game, I feel sorry for them. Because it's the rich game. And no matter what race you are, if you're not rich at the rate things are going, you're going to be in trouble. And so today is deep. As of now, there is no SNAP benefits on people's link cards. Zero. Which is one of the worst moves in U.S. history to actually try to make drastic changes and take away food stamps in Thanksgiving month of November is about as evil as you can get. Because you could have done that January, February. Nobody with any type of decency would let that happen for the month of Thanksgiving. And the backlash from that is going to tank the economy. Trump is old, and he's building a group around him that are followers. So he doesn't have any real advisors. And he's picking people that already go along with what he's doing, so he can't get any decent advice. None at all. It's hurting absolutely everybody, Kathy, but it's only just begun. I'm going to break down this all day probably today. I'll probably talk about this in a few different angles, but I'll give you some of the basics this morning. You cut off food stamps, SNAP benefits for the beginning of November, which is the first month that starts the holiday season. The holiday season is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. From Thanksgiving to New Year's, retailers are trying to get out of the red into the black. They're trying to make that last money for 2025. That's why it's Black Friday. Sell all the old TVs we got on stock in warehouses, empty out some of these warehouses, get rid of a lot of this merchandise that we haven't been able to sell, drop the prices on it, and just get rid of it. That's right, all the surplus. Now, what Trump has done is, he doesn't understand this, I'm sure. He's scared everybody. Some of the rich, they'll keep spending money but without a drastic turnaround, that money will dry up on Christmas Day. They got money, they're wealthy, they're going to go ahead, they're going to go ahead and do Christmas. But cutting off the SNAP benefits and the food stamps makes people scared. They're not going to spend any extra money. Movie theaters can forget it. Unless you get a big blockbuster, it's like if you look at the movies now, they got to get a big blockbuster. They got to get something getting a lot of hype. Everybody goes to see that, and that's it. Nobody goes to see nothing else. Stores are closing left and right and right and left and left and right and right and left. People are going to start penny pinching. afraid because of Trump, afraid that money might get cut off. Something might happen. This is what he's putting in the air. Something might happen. Something might happen. And so when you scare people like that, and you have people thinking something might happen, you dry up the economy. The economy is going to be bone dry. Crime's going to go through the roof. The very Trump supporters that supporting this nonsense will have their cars broken into. We be victim of robberies and burglaries, deaths, and violence. Because desperation gonna set in. When you look on the back end, it's a mess. Now we've already got companies shutting down 300,000 jobs here, 200,000 jobs there, 150,000 jobs there. Jobs gone. Gone, gone, gone. And that doesn't happen in October, November. That happens January and February. So there's jobs that are going to leave in January and February. And so if jobs are leaving now, October and November, then from October to April, how many jobs are going to be gone? Christmas is canceled. Nobody, only a fool would go out here and spend their money for Christmas. If you got little bitty children, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, yeah. If you got older children, don't buy them nothing. Sit them down and teach them what's going on. Tell them you'll get it after Christmas when they're giving stuff away. Don't raise your children to be slow. They need to know what's going on in the world. And they don't need to be programmed with this system where, oh, their life is over because they didn't get anything for Christmas. This type of mentality is the reason the suicide rate is as high as it is now. You're making the children fickle and weak and emotional. They can't handle the real world. And as parents, you're trying to hide them from the real world. And what you think gonna happen when they get out there in it? They're gonna have nervous breakdowns. They're gonna have alcohol abuse, sex abuse, drug abuse, violence, all type of. They ain't gonna be able to handle it. So you couldn't have picked a worse time to cut off food stamps the month of the big food holiday. This is some of the craziest nonsense I've ever seen in my life. It's bad enough you run away to migrant farmers right in time when it's time to harvest the food. I'm wondering how much food will even be available. Nobody said anything about that. But I know farmers are dumping foods in holes. They're not taking food to the market because they ain't going to lose money. So they say, hey, look. So we got a situation where we got a president and his people, and they here over here, they over there, and they're not adding up none of their moves. They're just reactionary, do this. They're not thinking anything through or nothing. Because if they thought this through, even when they shut the government down, they would have made money available for SNAP and food stamps. If they were thinking at all, they would be like, listen, it's going to be Thanksgiving and Christmas. Let's not cut off the food. And unbelievable, totally ridiculous, especially when you're rich. So when you got money now, especially that you're a president, you run all kind of special plays so you and your family can stack money. You use your presidency to make money. All of this is illegal. I've never seen a president use his position to just get money just right out in front of everybody. They've probably been doing it, but this one's doing it right in front of everybody. He doesn't care. And then to turn around and be picky over some people getting some link cards, which is basically pennies. That's not no money. These people waste trillions of dollars on nonsense. If you took the money they waste, they could feed everybody and everybody's rent would be much lower. When you look at the money they waste. But the timing and everything was really horrible. So while you take away people's food stamp, you're tearing down the White House, building a big old ballroom. This is all dark and negative. One of the worst things you could ever do is to take away food stamps the month of Thanksgiving. Not only take away food stamps the month of Thanksgiving, but to also start out the holiday season on this note. This is going to cost lots and lots of money. Lots of money. It's going to be absolutely devastating.